On January 15, 2020, Delta Airways Express Flight 3004 was going from Grant Airport to Los Angeles Saint Airport. This plane was a A320 carrying 155 passengers, 5 crews, and 2 pilots on board. The plane was just a few seconds away or minutes away from the airport. As they were approaching up to 3,000 to 4,000 feet. But during this time, the A320's engine been having issues after takeoff. During the storm rain and the thunder, pilots was urgent to make a land at Japan Orange Airport or Greater Rockford Airport. So they turned towards Greater Rockford Airport so they can transfer planes from the A320 to the 737. But during this time, the 1 and 2 engines was having issues, which includes engine number 2 blades. During the repairs, engine number 2's blades wasn't repaired right. And engine number 1, it was getting malfunction. So they slowed down engine number 1 to 95% of speed and put the flaps to 0 so they can get more speed and accuracy. But now the alert system goes off on number 2, saying failure. But there's no failure on the side as the crews don't see it. But when it climbs up to 5,800 feet, the right engine number 2 bursts in flames, causing it to bank to the right. Now the pilots recognize what's going on. The engine number 2 fails to communicate with the plane, and the plane was in a nosedive towards the ground in water. They tried to pull up the plane, but they were at 4,000 feet from the ground, making speed to go up. They pulled full throttle, making the engine more worse, and it could cause more damage to the wings. Finally, they pulled up, but now they were in the 100 zone at 200 to 100 feet from the ground. The pilots can see water, and the plane was baking. They nearly hit the water and finally could pull up the plane. But the speed was going downhill as they passed through Grant Airport trying to land back. The Grant Airport TC Tower could see that the plane going past by them is going fast with engine on fire behind them. This is the ATC Tower. You can land at south of Emmanuel Airport if you can. Try to land or crash land somewhere. But there's nothing else they can do because the speed was at 260 miles per hour. It went down 200 minus of the speed. At 260, they had 100 feet from the ground, going south or northeast towards South Antonia. They were at 100 feet, trying to pull it back down and pull on full thrust to stop the engine on number 2 on fire. They slowed it down to 96%, but the speed was at 240. But when things could get worse, the flaps starts retracting by itself, causing the speed to get worse as it goes inside the wires as the fire increases. The speed went down to 200 to 200 and then 197 miles per hour. They call for the emergency landing at South Antonio Airport, just 400 feet from the ground, as the landing gear was out. This is 3004. This is 3004 as Delta Express. We are trying to land at the airport as fast as we can. Mayday, mayday. This is San Antonio Airport. You can land on either runway as possible. But the plane was at 90 to 60 feet from the ground, and they were losing hope as the wires get worse inside the wings, and it could cause damage, and it caused it to go right and flip over or crash. The plane went steeply up as they tried to pull it down. Instead, they retracted the full thrust, and the plane went back down again. They were at 110 feet, but the plane stalled for only 1 second. And then, the plane starts rolling to the right. At the same time, the plane was at 100 feet to 800 feet from the ground. They're trying to pull the plane up, but they were at 100 feet. They tried to pull up, but as they were at 100 and 200 miles per hour, the plane could not make it.